Without further ado, here's the full epi on Axios on HBO. President Donald Trump with Jonathan fucking Swan.
Mr. President, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you taking the time, and we appreciate your commitment to answer our questions.
Sure.
The criticism of you that is most prominent is about the communication. It's the public health experts saying that it needs to be based in reality. And they're saying that the wishful thinking and the salesmanship is just not suitable at a time when a pandemic has killed 145,000 Americans. And it's that I understand what you're saying, that people need to hear positive thinking. But, you know, for the past 5 months, it's been the virus is totally under control, and the cases have been going up and the deaths have been going up.
Look.
But you've been saying it's under control.
Nobody knew what this thing was all about. This has never happened before. This was sent to us by China, one way or the other, and we're never going to forget it, banning China from coming in.
But it was already in here by the time. It was already here. Like, by the time you banned China, it came in through Europe.
Nobody knew the extent. Nobody knew how contagious it was.
But the question is, Mr. President,
maybe China knew.
By June, we knew things were bad. And, you know, the last time I was with you was the day before your Tulsa rally in the Oval. And, you know, you were saying big, huge crowd, it was indoors.
By the way,
these people, they listen to you.
Excuse me, Jonathan.
Yeah.
We had a 19,000 seat stadium. First of all, we had 12,000 people, not 6,000, which you reported and other people reported. But you couldn't even get in. It was like an armed camp.
Why would you have wanted
that? 120.
You're missing the point, dog. He's saying, why would you do that?
But Tulsa was a very good. Oklahoma was doing very well as a state. It was almost free. It spiked a month later, month and a half, 2 months later, but it was a good area.
I wonder why it spiked. I mean, it's not singularly, like Trump's rally in Tulsa was not singularly responsible because, you know, luckily only 6,000 fucking people went there. It's wild to assume that that would not have a significant impact when like 8 members of his Secret Service team got it. A person that went there specifically so he could make a political point died. A person that ran for president, Herman Cain, literally fucking died just to make a political point.
Mr. President.
My speech, well, wait a minute, you're saying something.
Yeah.
That speech was the highest rated speech in the history of Fox Television on Saturday night. And nobody says that.
I think you misunderstand me. I'm not criticizing your ability to draw a crowd. Are you kidding me? I've covered you for 5 years. You draw massive crowds, you get huge ratings. I'm asking about the public health.
And I canceled another one. I had to cancel it. We're going to have a great crowd in New Hampshire.
He's saying your ability to draw a crowd is the problem, you fucking idiot. You can draw a crowd. It's not good that you drew a crowd in the middle of a fucking pandemic. And he's like, no, the crowd was actually bigger.
They listen to you. They listen to every word you say. They hang on your every word. They don't listen to me or the media or Fauci. They think we're fake news. They want to get their advice from you. And so when they hear you say everything's under control, don't worry about wearing masks, I mean, these are people, many of them are older people,
What's
Mr. President.
What's your definition of control? Yeah. Under the
It's giving them a false sense of security.
Now, I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is. But that doesn't mean we aren't doing everything.
Donald looking kind of mess with it.
I'm sorry I keep pausing, but like, can you imagine Barack Obama saying that? Barack Obama saying it is what it is to 1,000 Americans dying every day because of a pandemic that he fucked up? Oh my fucking Lord, dude. This would be running on fucking repeat, dude. It'd be Hillary's butter emails. It'd be the new Benghazi cry. I wonder how much Republicans will talk about this line.
We can. It's under control as much as you can control it. This is a horrible plague that beset us.
You really think this is as much as we can control?
Well, the testing. We have tested more people than any other country, than all of Europe put together times 2. We have tested more people than anybody ever thought of. India has 1.4 billion people. They've done 11 million tests. We've done 55. It'll be close to 60 million tests. And, you know, there are those that say, you can test too much. You do know that.
Who says that?
What? I've never heard that. You can test too much? What the fuck does that even mean? Wait, is that a real thing that people say? The only way to comprehend whether we are testing too much or too little is by looking at the percentage of positive tests across all the people that we have tested for coronavirus. And we are currently around above 10%. We need to be under 5% to hit a comfortable spot where we are testing Poorly, but at least enough.
Oh, just read the manuals, read the books.
Manuals?
Read the
What
books.
manuals?
Read the books.
What books?
What testing does?
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute, John. Let me explain.
We're testing so much because it's spread so far in America.
We're testing so much because we had the ability to test.
Okay,
Because we came up with tests.
South Korea.
Jonathan, we didn't even have a test. When I took over, we didn't even have a test. Now, in all fairness,
why would you have a test?
There was no test.
The virus
for
didn't
this.
exist. How would you have a test?
I was going to say,
Okay.
there was no test for this.
What is he saying? We didn't even have a test when I took over for a novel virus that didn't exist. Why is this our president, dude? He's right. We didn't have a test when he took over. Obama had no answer for coronavirus.
The figure I look at is death. And death is going up now.
Okay,
and it's 1,000 a day.
If you look at death...
Yeah, it's going
let's
up
look.
again.
Let's look.
Daily death.
Take a look at some of these charts.
I'd love to.
We're going to look.
Let's look.
And if you look at death...
Yeah. It's started to go up
Here's
again.
one. Well, right here, the United States is lowest in numerous categories. We're lower than the world.
Lower than the
lower
world?
than
What is that?
Europe.
In what?
Look.
In what?
Take a look. Right here. Here's case death.
Oh, you're doing death as a proportion of cases. I'm talking about death as a proportion of population. That's where the US is really bad.
Well,
Much worse than South Korea, Germany, etc.
you can't do that. You have
Why
to go,
can't I do that?
You have to go by.
Wait, what? What do you mean you can't do that? He said you can't do that. He's like, that's cheating. That's cheating. Yo, this is the president, dude. Why would his fucking idiotic handlers let him do this? They just stuck him with a bunch of fucking charts like a little kid. And he's just like, he doesn't even know how to interpret the data. And he's just like, I can't remember the talking point. You look at the data. And he's like, no, I'm talking about deaths as a percentage of the population. He's like, no, you can't do that. What a fucking insane convo, dude.
Well, look at South Korea, for example. 51 million population, 300 deaths. It's like, it's crazy
you don't
compared to...
know that.
I do. It's on
You
the...
don't know that.
You think they're faking their statistics, South Korea?
This is unhinged. This is the... Wait, I gotta run this back. He's rebooting. Look at him rebooting.
You don't know that.
You think they're faking their statistics, South Korea?
I won't.
I don't know.
Because of the testing. Wait,
1,000 Americans are dying a day, but I understand on cases it's different.
no, but you're not reporting it correctly, Jonathan.
I think I am, but
If you take a look at this other chart, look, this is our testing, I believe. This is the testing, yeah.
yeah, we do more tests.
No, wait a minute. Well, don't we get credit for that? And because we do more tests, we have more cases.
I'm talking about death.
Well, you look at
It's going
death.
up.
Death is way down from where it was.
It's 1,000 a
Death.
day. It was 2,500. It went down to 500. Now it's going up
Death.
again.
Excuse me.
Different subject. It's been widely reported that the US has intelligence indicating that Russia paid bounties or offered to pay bounties to Taliban fighters to kill American soldiers. You had a phone call with Vladimir Putin on July 23rd. Did you bring up this issue?
No, that was a phone call to discuss other things.
And you've never discussed it with him?
I have never discussed it with him. No. I would. I'd have no problem with it.
But you don't believe the intelligence?
never
It's because you
got-
don't believe the intelligence, that's why.
Everything, you know, it's interesting. Nobody ever brings up China. They always bring Russia, Russia, Russia. If we can do something with Russia in terms of nuclear proliferation, which is a
Right.
very big problem, bigger problem than global warming, a much bigger problem than global warming in terms of the real world, that would be a great thing.
But just-
No,
Insane how his mind
Of
works.
justice.
And you know
You love
exactly
your
how his
father's
mind works?
devil.
Because there's zero filter. And when I say zero filter, I don't mean like Trump is a truth teller, like he's unfiltered. I mean literally he does not process what is coming out. Like words, it's like a word cloud. Donald Trump is literally like a word cloud machine. Okay? He's just like, smart. I am smart. I read books. Cognitive ability. I'm the best. Russia is good, but also bad. Who cares?
Do you read your written brief?
I do. I
Do you?
read a lot.
Really?
You know, I read a lot. They like to say I don't read. I read a lot.
Your daily
I
intelligence
comprehend
brief?
extraordinarily well. Probably
That's my best. That's my favorite line. I comprehend extraordinarily well.
better than anybody that you've interviewed in a long time.
What a fucking idiotic thing to say, dude. How does he come up with it? I really love it.
Intelligence.
Because this was apparently
talking about India, talking about
right.
with the problems with China, talking about so many different elements of the world. Mm-hmm. The world is a very angry place. If you look all over the world, we call up. I see 22 soldiers were killed in India with China fighting over the border. It's been raging for many, many decades.
So here he is remembering certain key parts, like key details from a briefing that he was a part of. And he's using that to be like, look at how many things I know. It's literally, I've been in this situation when I was a kid and I didn't do the fucking reading and I had to go in front of the classroom and deliver a presentation on some shit that I totally could not fucking remember. Okay. And we've all been in this situation where you're like, I didn't really fucking read this well enough. I didn't do the writing. I didn't do the reading. I have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. I'm just going to pick certain parts that I do remember and I'm just going to blast them out into your face in the general vicinity of whatever the fuck we're reading. That's exactly what's happening here. China, India, 22 people have died. I remember. I'm the rememberer of things. I'm the greatest understander.
The reason I say this is even if you don't believe this particular piece of intelligence, and there is dispute, no doubt, there is dispute in the intelligence community about it. Your former, John Nicholson, former head of forces in Afghanistan, said, and this is when he was working for you, that Russia is supplying weapons to the Taliban. Isn't that enough to challenge Putin over the killings of US soldiers?
Well, we supplied weapons when they were fighting Russia too. You know, when they were fighting with the Taliban in Afghanistan.
It's a different era.
Well, it's a different. I'm just saying, yes.
But does that? How does that affect?
I'm just saying we did that too.
But how does that?
I don't know. I didn't ask Nicholson about that. He was there for a long time. Didn't have great success.
That's based. When he turns around and goes, "We did that too. We did that too. We armed the Taliban. We did it too." And when push comes to shove, that unfiltered Trump ends up saying a truth that people normally are not supposed to say. I constantly remember that interview that he did with Bill O'Reilly. I believe it was in 2016, where he said,
"Love you, Ajay.
We're not so nice." Where he just straight the fuck up was like, we're not so nice either.
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. And if Russia helps us in the fight against ISIS, which is a major fight, and Islamic terrorism all over the world, right? Major fight, that's a good thing. Will I get along with him? I have no idea. It's very
He's a
possible
killer,
I
though.
won't.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?
That's what. Trump is right there. But he gets to say it because he's a fucking patriot, right? Because he is an American patriot, because he's a Republican, and also because he's racist. And unfortunately, in America, if you're a racist and a Republican, that's kind of a substitute for patriotism.
The last thing that Russia wants to do is get too much involved with Afghanistan. They tried that once. It didn't work out too well.
Last question on this subject.
And by the way, we're largely out of Afghanistan, as you probably know.
Well, wanted to ask you about that. The US troop level in Afghanistan right now is roughly the same as it was when
you're wrong. No.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. We have to do...
Okay, are you ready?
No.
We'll be down in a very short... It's already planned.
Well, that's a different question.
Let me explain. We'll be down in a very short period of time to 8,000. Then we're going to be down to 4,000.
When you came in, it was 8,800. You boosted to 14,000, and now you're back down to 8,500.
We're now...
My question to you...
We'll be at 4,000. I'll give you the exact... Very soon. Very soon.
What will be the number? Very soon? 4,000?
Very soon, yes.
Like how soon?
I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you that.
It's big news.
What is that?
It's going down to 4,000, isn't it?
No, I've always said...
Well, what about election day?
I'm sorry, but how is this journalism? Like what Jonathan Swan is doing. I get this is low-key the only way you can get information out of this fucking dipshit. But it's so funny. He's like, come on, fucking tell me. All right? I won't tell anyone else. If you tell me, it'll just be between both of us. Come on.
Have you thought about going down to zero?
Let me just tell you what you don't say. We took out in Syria, we took out ISIS. We 100% of the caliphate. When I took over Obama, it was totally rampant. ISIS was all over the place. We took them out, we captured them, we killed them.
Why are we talking about ISIS? The question is about Afghanistan. And now he's talking about ISIS, and now he's talking about Iran with Soleimani. what the fuck is going on in this conversation? These guys are all the same. Tomato, ISIS, Taliban, Caliphate. Who knows what any of these words mean? I'm the president, by the way.
You couldn't say whether you'd accept the results of the 2020 election. What does that actually look like as the sitting president? I mean, it's unprecedented. What would that actually look
Hillary
like?
Clinton never accepted him.
She conceded on. She conceded
still
on.
doesn't accept him, and she got
That's an
beaten
important
very
point.
easily.
That's an important point. She conceded on election night. Now she grumbled about it and said all sorts of
grumbled. She wrote books
fine.
about it.
She wrote books.
Don't use the word grumbled.
Fine, but
she wrote books about it.
That's fine, but I'm just.
She got beaten easily.
I get it. I get it.
306 to 223.
I'm
That's
not
a
disputing
lot.
you beat Hillary Clinton.
That's a lot.
Listen, are you litigating?
Let me tell you what it looks like.
Okay.
So we have a new phenomena. It's called mail-in voting, where you send where a governor.
It's been here since the Civil War.
In terms of the kind of millions and millions of ballots, they've never.
It'll be
like
bigger this year because of the pandemic.
Bigger, not bigger, massively bigger.
Yeah, because of the pandemic.
So they're going to send tens of millions of ballots to California, all over the place. Who's going to get them? I have a friend lives in Westchester County.
They send applications, not that.
His son passed away. He had a beautiful, wonderful son, young man, passed away 7 years ago. He called me. He said, "I just got a ballot
Probably
for
an
my
application.
son Robert.
Probably
he died 7 years ago. Somebody got a ballot for a dog. Somebody got a ballot for something else."
I love that Trump is like, oh my God, my friend's son died and he got a mail-in ballot. Okay, is your friend gonna fucking illegally vote for you? Because that would be fucking illegal. Dead people get fucking mail all the time. Your administration delivered $1.5 billion to dead people as a form of coronavirus relief packages. The point isn't to completely fucking destroy the process and act like, well, what are we gonna do? We have to just fucking not have mail-in ballots, abolish it in its entirety. The point is to solve those problems.
Mr. President, the other day a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, "I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is." Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person
First of all,
well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
She has. She's been arrested for that. You know
her
that.
friend or boyfriend
Epstein.
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that
Oh,
she's
so you're
guilty?
saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed?
I'm out of control.
And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
she's a
made it
child
such
alleged child sex
a
trafficking.
big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
What? Why did he say that? Why did he say any of those things that he just said? Oh, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, dude. Why isn't he just saying, I misspoke? He's like, oh, her boyfriend died. Like, what the fuck? Not the same moral evil, like level of evilness, but like, that's kind of like saying, I don't want to talk about it right now. Like Adolf, he was going through a lot. Honestly, right now, we should be talking about suicide awareness. It's really fucked up that you're talking about anything else that Adolf did. We should be talking about a painter and a life lost to suicide. Here's the suicide hotline. You talk about fucking burying the lead. Like, you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein and his girlfriend, a person who was engaged in the sex trafficking. Very interesting way to talk about this issue.
Let's move to Portland. I'm sure you've seen the disturbing footage of people in fatigues beating the Navy veteran.
No.
Well,
here you
it's
go.
there.
The fake news.
It's not fake news. It's on video.
Anarchists and agitators and some protesters, but these were anarchists.
Okay.
These people were beating the hell out of the city. They were beating up our federal buildings and our federal courthouse. We told the police to stop it. You make sure. And the police wouldn't do it. Not the police.
Your own Justice Department and Homeland Security Inspector Generals.
Excuse me.
Your Inspector Generals are investigating unconstitutional.
You're trying now to blame law enforcement instead of anarchists. Instead of Antifa.
I'm not.
It's Antifa and anarchists that are causing the problems, not law enforcement. Our law enforcement, if we didn't have people at our courthouse, and they're strong, tough people, and they try and be very good, believe me. But if we didn't have people there, you would have your federal courthouse, $600 million building, you would have that thing burned to the ground.
Jonathan, why are you not considering the federal building? So the federales pulled out of Portland. Is the courthouse burned down to the ground, I guess, now that they're gone? Is it on fire all the time now? What's up? Isn't it strange how we never talk about what happens when cops actually de-escalate by completely leaving? All of a sudden, it's no longer a talking point.
The really serious concern is the reports. Not about that. The serious concern is the reports of people being rounded up and not being told why they're being detained. That's what's being investigated by Mr. President. The inspectors generals. The inspectors generals.
You know why they're being detained? Well, yeah.
There's an investigation. Do you support that investigation?
Well, I haven't seen the result yet.
But do you support the initiative of it?
No, I think that actually I think Antifa should be investigated, not the law enforcement. They're investigating.
They shouldn't be investigating.
Have you been watching television?
I have.
Have you been seeing
Saying anti-fascists need to be investigated or like what, doing anti-fascism when they have led to 0 deaths in the past 25 years, whereas white supremacists are just expressing a difference in their opinion when white supremacists in the past 25 years have left 325 deaths is fucking insane. To like spend any number of DHS resources on crusty fucking anarchists is one of the most psychotic things that any administration could ever do. But they're of course going to do that because they need to portray the left as an enemy because this is a fucking fascist government. Holy shit.
those people? Take a look at what they've done to the courthouse. Take a look at what they've done to the streets. Take a look at the violence.
It's getting worse since they've gone in.
It's getting better. We had a very good, we've arrested a lot.
Literally getting worse, dude. Literally has gotten worse every day. More people have showed up because when you beat the shit out of someone, you radicalize 5 of their fucking friends, okay? That's how it works. More people are going to show up. You start tear gassing them, more people are going to fucking show up. There's only 2 options out of this. Either you escalate violence to a point where you start killing protesters, like literally killing them or like locking them in jail indefinitely, or there is a non-violent alternative, which is scale back, de-escalate, and fucking listen to your fellow citizens. Make concessions. That's what administrations are supposed to fucking do when you are in a position of power and these people have voted you in.
You said you've done so much for African Americans.
I have.
But there are Americans.
Justice
I understand.
reform, opportunity.
But there are Americans out in the streets asking for change. Mr. President, have you ever met with a Black Lives Matter activist to hear them out, hear their arguments?
No,
well, Black Lives Matter started off to me very badly because it was.
Did you ever meet with one?
Pigs in a blanket, burn them like bacon. That was the first time I ever heard of black. That was 3-4 years ago.
Right.
Pigs meaning
what? Dude, he's doing the memes, dude. He's doing the fucking email listing memes, dude. Somewhere out there in America, black people said pigs in a blanket, wrap them like bacon. Therefore, the entire grassroots organized movement of Black Lives Matter and all of their demands are now completely false. Here, let me use terms that Republicans understand. I saw a meme and that made my feelings hurt. So now I'm not going to listen to black people and the demands that they make. I'm not happy. Ooh, don't call the cops pigs. Don't do that. No. Why do you not talk about their feelings? Huh?
Do you believe, though, Mr. President, that many police treat black people differently from white people?
Well, I hope not. I hope not. Certainly
there you go. Not racist. Folks, this guy, interview champion, undeniable.
I'm talking about, what does systemic racism mean to you?
I hope the answer to that question is no. Does anybody really answer that question accurately?
But what about not hope? What about analysis? What's your cold-hearted
I have
view
seen where there is a difference, and I don't want there to be a difference. I don't like that there would be a difference. But with that being said,
why do you think black men are 2.5 times?
White people.
I know, but why do you think black men
in a larger number
in quantity
police have killed white people?
But why do you think black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police than white men?
That I don't know, but I don't like it.
But you must have thought about it.
I don't know why, but I don't like it.
Mr. President, I thought you said earlier today that you were the greatest comprehender. This is why I'm asking you right now, Mr. President. Black people are dying in the hands of the police at 2.5 times higher rates than white people. I'm asking you why, Mr. President. You are the greatest comprehender.
Does it speak to something
police
systemic?
have killed many white people also.
But proportionally, what does it speak to?
It speaks to something, if that's the number, you're telling
is the
me a
number.
number. Okay, if that's the number, it speaks to something that to me is unacceptable.
And what do you do about it then?
Well, I think we've already done a lot of
But you
things.
haven't. It still
Let me
exists.
just tell you.
No. I understand your achievements. I know what you're going to say.
I did more for the black community than anybody, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln, whether you like it or not. People say, oh, that's
You believe you did more than Lyndon Johnson, who passed the Civil
I
Rights
think I
Act?
did, yeah.
How?
Because I
How
got criminal
possibly did you
justice
do?
reform done. I got prison reform.
Lyndon Johnson.
I've done things. Well,
I love
He passed the
that.
Civil Rights
yes.
Act.
How has it worked out? If you take a look at what Lyndon Johnson did.
You think the Civil Rights Act was a
How has it
mistake?
worked out? Because frankly, it took a long time.
Listen, black people don't even like the vote. Black people tell me all the time, we don't like the vote, Mr. President. We don't like it.
The devil.
Thank you. Thank you for the Republican Party taking that away from us. Thank you.
John Lewis is lying in state in the U.S. Capitol. How do you think history will remember John Lewis?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know John Lewis. He chose not to come to my inauguration. He chose. I never met John Lewis. Actually, I don't believe.
Do you find him impressive?
I can't say one way or the other. I find a lot of people impressive. I find many people not impressive. But no. But I didn't go.
Do you find his story impressive?
He didn't come to my inauguration. He didn't come to my State of the Union speeches, and that's okay. That's his right. And again, nobody has done more for black Americans than I have.
Dude, right after he just shit on John Lewis. Oh, God damn, dude. He is so American. Oh, it's fucking awesome, dude. Like, he is so petty. He embodies every fucking weakness that Americans have. Like, he embodies all of our worst qualities. Who a megalol John Lewis, and then followed up by saying, like, I've done so much more than anyone else. He can't help himself. That's why he's so likable, because he's so fucking relatable to a solid 30% of the population who are exactly like him. As petty, as salty, as jealous of like the liberal elite, as entitled, as disgusting, as fucking ignorant, constantly reminiscing about how, you know, they had their victories in high school. He is the perfect American. That's why he's so likable, because every fucking dipshit that never left the high school mentality, you know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. Trump is that person. He behaves like that person. He embodies all the worst qualities of those people. He's just completely oblivious to the reality, and that's why they like him. He is exactly like, it's like a mirror. He just shines a mirror back at them.
Taking your relationship with him out of it, do you find his story impressive, what he's done for this country?
He was a person that devoted a lot of energy and a lot of heart to civil rights, but there were many others also.
This was so good. Listen, on that note, we're ending it tonight. Wow, dude. Wow. What a fucking insane interview, dude. Holy shit, that's our president. Ladies and gentlemen, folks, boys and girls, NBs, that's our goddamn president, dude. I'm going to sleep. I'm sure we'll be thinking about that. Just kidding. I won't be thinking about that much further. I will probably watch some Full Metal Alchemist. You know, jerk off, have fun. Sorry for the only 11-hour and 30-minute stream, but I'm tired. What a crazy fucking sequence. What a crazy fucking world we live in, dude.